What could make one of Korea's biggest stars break his silence in the most emotional way? Breaking now, Soo Hyun's heartfelt message to Kim Ji-won after her stunning iMBC award triumph has left fans buzzing with questions and emotions. Was it just friendship, or something deeper? Stay tuned. Because Red Carpet Revealed is here to uncover every detail right now. The night of the iMBC Awards was already destined to be a glittering spectacle, with the brightest stars of the Korean entertainment industry gathered under one roof. The cameras capturing every smile, every glance, every triumphant moment. But no one could have anticipated that the evening would erupt into one of the most talked about controversies and heart-stopping surprises of the year. When Kim Ji-won took the stage to accept her award, dazzled not only with her grace and her heartfelt speech but with the avalanche of love and recognition she received from her peers and her millions of fans worldwide. Yet it was not the trophy itself that dominated the headlines the next morning, it was the emotional, deeply personal message sent to her by Soo Hyun. Message that fans across the globe are still dissecting word by word. Kim Ji-won, whose career trajectory has been nothing short of meteoric, walked onto the stage that night in an ivory gown that shimmered beneath the spotlights, embodying both elegance and quiet power. Her name had been trending since the moment she appeared on the red carpet, with critics and style analysts hailing her as the best-dressed star of the evening. When her name was called as the recipient of one of the night's most coveted honors, the audience erupted into cheers. Her acceptance speech was filled with gratitude to her family, her fans, and her colleagues, but there was a sense of vulnerability in her voice. Tremor that suggested the award meant more to her than she was letting on. Then came the twist that no one had expected. While fans were still sharing clips of her acceptance speech, notification pinged across countless phones. It was Soo Hyun, one of the most acclaimed actors of his generation, posting on his social media platform a message so heartfelt, so raw, that the entertainment world collectively gasped. "Congratulations, G1," he wrote. "You deserve every ounce of this recognition. Watching you grow, watching you shine, it makes me proud in ways words can hardly capture." It wasn't the congratulatory tone itself that startled fans, it was the intimacy of his phrasing. To say he had been watching her grow implied a long and personal investment in her journey, a closeness that had never before been publicly acknowledged. And to say her success made him proud touched a nerve that electrified fandoms across the internet. Within minutes, screenshots of his message flooded Twitter and Instagram. The hashtags Soo Hyun, Kim Ji-won, and Soo Hyun message trended worldwide. Fan forums lit up with debates. Some fans melted, declaring this the most beautiful show of support between two stars in years. Others, however, immediately connected the dots to Kim Ji-won's history with Lee Min-ho, reigniting long-dormant rumors and sending the entire K-drama community into chaos. Why did this one message resonate so strongly? To answer that, one must revisit the intertwined histories of Kim Ji-won and Soo Hyun. Though they had never shared a blockbuster drama together, had crossed paths on numerous occasions, awards ceremonies, industry galas, mutual friends gatherings. Each time, fans noted their easy camaraderie. The way Soo Hyun's typically reserved demeanor seemed to soften around Ji-won's warmth, and the way Ji-won's eyes seemed to light up when speaking with him. Interviews over the years revealed subtle nods of respect. Kim Ji-won once described Soo Hyun as an actor who disappears into his characters in a way that inspires everyone, while Soo Hyun, when asked about rising female stars he admired, casually but pointedly mentioned Ji-won's name. For years, these moments were treated as footnotes, small sparks in the vast constellation of Hallyu. The iMBC Awards changed everything. The message was too personal, too emotionally charged to be dismissed as professional courtesy. Fans who had long shipped Ji-won with Lee Min-ho, owing to their sizzling chemistry in The King, Eternal Monarch, felt blindsided. The love triangle that had always been the stuff of fanfiction suddenly seemed to bleed into reality. Was Soo Hyun's message a confession disguised as congratulations? Was it a declaration of something deeper? Entertainment news outlets wasted no time in spinning the narrative. Headlines blared, Soo Hyun's emotional message steals spotlight from iMBC Awards. Talk shows replayed the moment endlessly, inviting panelists to weigh in. Some dismissed it as overblown. Others insisted it carried romantic undertones. One popular variety program even brought in a body language expert to analyze the phrasing, the punctuation, the subtle use of proud as a marker of deeper sentiment. The result? endless speculation that overshadowed every other story of the night. Kim Ji-won herself remained characteristically composed in the aftermath. While her agency released a brief statement thanking Kim Soo Hyun for his kind words, she refrained from addressing the storm directly. But her silence only fueled the fire. Every public appearance she made afterward was scrutinized. Was her smile a little brighter? Was there a hidden glow of someone in the early stages of romance? For Kim Soo Hyun, the fallout was even more intense. Known for his intensely private nature, he had always kept his personal life under the tightest of locks. That he would make such a public gesture shocked not only fans but also industry insiders. Many wondered what could have prompted such openness. Had he grown tired of hiding his true feelings? Was it a calculated move? Or a moment of impulsive sincerity? The scenes, reports trickled in that the two had grown closer over the past year. Though not confirmed, industry insiders whispered of late-night dinners, quiet walks along the Han River, and phone calls that stretched into the early hours of the morning. One anonymous staff member claimed, "They have a bond that feels unshakable. It's not about fame or work, it's about genuine care." Whether these accounts were true or exaggerated hardly mattered. They added oxygen to a fire already raging. Fans were divided into camps, with some celebrating the possibility of a new golden couple in K-drama history and others clinging fiercely to the Lee Min-ho narrative. Social media became a battlefield. One fan wrote, "This is the love story we never knew we needed." Another countered, "She belongs with Min-ho. This is betrayal." Hashtags clashed like banners in a digital war, with each faction fighting to claim ownership of the narrative. The industry, ever quick to capitalize, began whispering about possible casting opportunities. Producers speculated about pairing Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Ji-won in a drama, banking on the frenzy to guarantee blockbuster ratings. Advertisers eyed the duo for potential endorsements, imagining campaigns dripping with romantic tension. It started as a single congratulatory message threatened to reshape both stars' careers, altering their trajectories in ways neither could have anticipated. Yet amid all the noise, there was something undeniably human at the core of the story. In a world where celebrities are often treated as commodities, Kim Soo Hyun's message felt unfiltered, genuine, and raw. It reminded fans that these icons, so often projected onto screens as gods and goddesses, are human beings with emotions that cannot be fully scripted. And perhaps that was why the moment hit so hard. It wasn't just about romance, it was about vulnerability. The kind that slips through even the most carefully constructed facades. As the days turned into weeks, the message continued to reverberate. Clips of Ji-won's acceptance speech paired with Soo Hyun's words went viral on TikTok, set to melancholic ballads that racked up millions of views. Fiction communities erupted with news stories imagining what could unfold between them. YouTube analysts devoted hour-long breakdowns to the Soo Hyun-Ji-won connection, dissecting every detail of their past encounters. The frenzy had become self-sustaining, feeding off itself in an endless cycle of speculation and yearning. But what about Lee Min-ho, the third figure in this unspoken triangle? His silence spoke volumes. Each of his social media posts was inundated with comments demanding a reaction. Some begged him to fight for Ji-won, urged him to move on. His agency issued no statements, perhaps wisely choosing not to stoke the flames. Still, his absence from the conversation only amplified it, projecting their fantasies onto his silence. Was he heartbroken? Was he indifferent? The truth remained elusive, a mystery that only deepened the intrigue. Kim Soo Hyun, meanwhile, found himself at the center of a storm he had perhaps not fully anticipated. Paparazzi followed him relentlessly, to catch him in candid moments that might confirm or deny the rumors. Every glance, every smile, every schedule was interpreted as a clue. The man who had spent his career carefully guarding his privacy suddenly found himself stripped bare by a single message. And yet, those who knew him best claimed he had no regrets. One colleague put it, "Soo Hyun doesn't do anything without meaning it." Wrote those words, "It's because he wanted to. And that's enough." By the end of the month, the message had transformed from a fleeting post-into a cultural touchstone, a moment fans would remember for years. It wasn't just a congratulatory note, it was a spark that ignited debates about love, vulnerability, and the cost of authenticity in a manufactured world. For Kim Ji-won, it was both a blessing and a burden, elevating her into the center of the most dramatic narrative of her career. For Kim Soo Hyun, It was a risk that may have changed his life forever. Even as the frenzy raged, one question lingered: was this the beginning of something beautiful? The opening chapter of a tragedy? The answer would not come quickly. But one thing was clear: this story was far from over. If the first wave of shock following Kim Soo Hyun's message to Kim Ji-won was like an earthquake, then the weeks that followed were the aftershocks, some subtle, some shattering. Impossible to ignore. What began as a simple congratulatory note spiraled into one of the most dramatic storylines the Korean entertainment world had seen in years. Now, the focus shifted from what he said to what it meant, and whether Kim Ji-won would, at last, respond in kind. At first, she chose silence. After the brief statement from her agency thanking Kim Soo Hyun for his kind words, Kim Ji-won remained poised, smiling at press events, focusing on her projects, and offering no fuel for the raging fire of speculation. But fans are nothing if not relentless. Every outfit she wore, every caption she posted, every subtle change in her tone became evidence in the ongoing investigation of her heart. When she shared a photo of flowers with a caption, "Grateful for the love around me," the internet nearly imploded. A subtle nod to Kim Soo Hyun? Or merely a generic thank you? The ambiguity only amplified the hysteria. Kim Soo Hyun, too, found himself under constant scrutiny. Paparazzi photos of him walking quietly through Incheon Airport were dissected like forensic evidence. Did his tired eyes suggest he was losing sleep over the controversy? Was the book tucked under his arm, rumored to be a poetry collection, a secret message to Ji-won? Gossip sites fed on these crumbs, spinning narratives out of shadows. Man so famously private. It must have felt like suffocating exposure. And yet, when asked during a promotional interview about the message, Soo Hyun simply smiled and replied, "Sometimes words come from the heart. That's all there is to it." That one line reignited the frenzy. From the heart. It was simple, yet devastatingly powerful. Fans swooned, tabloids screamed, and industry insiders whispered that his words were tantamount to confession. Some claimed he had taken the first bold step toward making their bond public, while others argued he was merely emphasizing sincerity. But sincerity, in a world built on carefully crafted images, in itself revolutionary. Meanwhile, Kim Ji-won's world was shifting. The iMBC award win had already catapulted her into a new tier of prestige. But now she found herself the subject of unprecedented attention. Casting directors, sensing the electricity surrounding her name, want to secure her for upcoming projects. Brands courted her with endorsement deals that promised global reach. Yet with every opportunity came the shadow of the Soo Hyun connection. Could she ever again appear on screen without the audience projecting their own fantasies onto her performance? It was during this delicate moment that Kim Ji-won finally broke her silence. At a fan meeting, when asked directly about Kim Soo Hyun's congratulatory message, she paused, her eyes glistening with something deeper than rehearsed professionalism. "I was very touched," she admitted softly. "It meant a lot to me that someone I respect so deeply would say such kind words." The room erupted. Fans cheering, some even crying. Not a declaration of love. But it was enough, a crack in the armor. A glimpse of truth. The internet exploded once again. Fan edits paired her words with Soo Hyun's original post, splicing together what many now declared the beginning of a public love story. Hashtags like Soo Hyun Ji-won couple and proud message trended worldwide. For days, Korean news shows replayed the clip of Ji-won's response, slowing down her expression, analyzing her tone, even consulting psychologists on whether her smile suggested affection beyond friendship. But the frenzy did not come without consequences. Lee Min-ho, who had thus far remained silent, was cornered by reporters at a promotional event. When asked about the rumors, chuckled politely and said, "I wish both Ji-won and Soo Hyun happiness. They're both amazing people." It was the first, and perhaps only, comment he would make on the matter. But it was enough to close one chapter of speculation. Fans who had long clung to the Min-ho Ji-won fantasy had no choice but to reckon with the reality. His graceful response diffused the tension. It also fueled bittersweet emotions in those who had hoped for a different ending. As the months passed, the narrative matured. What began as shock and scandal evolved into something resembling acceptance. The sight of Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Ji-won in the same frame, once unthinkable, now seemed inevitable. Producers began whispering about a potential collaboration, A romantic drama that could shatter ratings records. Advertisers envisioned couple endorsements. During their chemistry immortalized on billboards. It was no longer just about whether they were in love, it was about how their perceived connection could be monetized. Yet through it all, one could not ignore the emotional core of the story. For years, both Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Ji-won had carried the burden of being icons. Their private lives dissected and distorted to fit the fantasies of millions. This moment, raw, unfiltered, impossible to control, was different. It was a reminder that even the most polished stars are still human. Still vulnerable to the same emotions that govern ordinary lives. Critics began to argue that the significance of Soo Hyun's message lay not in whether it revealed romance, but in how it exposed the hollowness of an industry that demands perfection while punishing authenticity. By choosing to speak from the heart, Soo Hyun had disrupted the game. By choosing to acknowledge his words with grace, Ji-won had dared to show vulnerability. Together, they carved out a narrative that felt more real than any scripted drama. Still, the question lingered, what comes next? Would they confirm a relationship? Or retreat into silence once more? Would the weight of fan expectations crush their bond? Or would it fortify them against the pressures of fame? The answers remain elusive, known only to the two at the center of the storm. What is undeniable, however, is that the moment has already secured its place in history. Fans will remember where they were when they read Kim Soo Hyun's message. How their hearts raced. Their timelines exploded with speculation and joy. Remember the fan wars. The edits, the tears. After. Most of all, they will remember how, for one fleeting moment, the line between fiction and reality blurred, and the stars they adored revealed themselves not as distant gods but as human beings daring to feel. And perhaps that is why the story will endure. Because it promises a fairy tale ending. But because it reflects the messy, beautiful, complicated truth of love and admiration in the spotlight. Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Ji-won may never confirm the full depth of their bond. They may go their separate ways or they may walk into the future together. No matter what, the emotional message that started it all will remain, a digital artifact of sincerity in an age of artifice. A reminder that sometimes the smallest words can ignite the largest fires. For now, the world waits, breath held, eyes fixed on every move, every glance. Unspoken word. Whether this ends in heartbreak or happily ever after, one truth cannot be denied. Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Ji-won have already changed the way we see love in the world of Korean entertainment. And that alone is a legacy neither of them could have planned, but one they may cherish forever. In the end, one message changed everything. Kim Soo Hyun's heartfelt words to Kim Ji-won at the height of her triumph were more than congratulations, they were a spark that set the entire entertainment world alight. For some, it was romance. For others, it was respect. But for everyone, it was unforgettable. Moments like these remind us why we watch, why we care, and why the stories of our favorite stars move us so deeply. Whether this tale ends in a love story or simply remains a powerful moment of honesty, it has already etched itself into the history of K-entertainment. Readers, thank you for staying with us through every twist, every rumor, and every revelation. Your passion keeps the spotlight burning and drives us to uncover the stories behind the red carpet. Stay tuned, because the red carpet revealed is always closer than you think.